A story of second chances. Margaret Hayes had learned something important over the years. Life doesn't always give you what you planned for, but sometimes it gives you exactly what you need. Her little cafe sat on a quiet corner in Portland. Nothing fancy, just good coffee, warm pastries, and the kind of atmosphere that made people want to stay a while. She'd opened it 7 years ago, when she was starting over. When she was alone and scared and didn't know how she'd manage, but she had managed. More than that, she'd built something beautiful. Her daughter Emma was 6 now, bright as sunshine, with her mother's gentle spirit, and though Margaret rarely said it out loud, her father's sharp, intelligent eyes. It was a Tuesday morning when he walked in. Margaret was wiping down the counter, humming softly to herself. Emma sat at a corner table, carefully coloring in a workbook. The bell above the door chimed. She looked up and froze. Daniel Crawford stood in the doorway, older now, lines around his eyes that hadn't been there before. His expensive suit seemed almost out of place among the mismatched chairs and local artwork on the walls. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "Margaret," he finally said. His voice was quieter than she remembered. "Daniel, 7 years. 7 years since he'd chosen his career over their future. Since he'd said he wasn't ready. Since she'd discovered 2 months later that she was pregnant and decided not to tell him. She'd told herself it was pride. Maybe it was. Or maybe it was just survival. "I didn't know you were in Portland," he said, stepping closer. "I didn't know you were either." He glanced around the cafe, and something soft crossed his face. "This is yours?" "It is. It's lovely, Margaret. Really lovely." That's when Emma looked up from her coloring. Children have a way of seeing things adults try to hide. Emma stared at Daniel with curious, unguarded eyes. Then she glanced at the photo on the wall. The only one Margaret kept. An old picture from college. Margaret and Daniel, younger and hopeful. Emma walked over slowly, clutching her purple crayon. She looked up at Daniel, studying his face with that careful way children do. "Are you my daddy?" she asked simply. The world seemed to stop. Daniel's face went pale. His eyes darted to Margaret, then back to Emma. He knelt down slowly until he was at the little girl's level. His voice cracked. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Emma Rose Hayes. I'm 6 3/4. Daniel looked up at Margaret. His eyes were full of questions, yes, but also something else, something that looked like regret. Like wonder. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered. Margaret took a breath. "You'd made your choice. I made mine. But I had a right to know. Maybe. And maybe I had a right to not spend years waiting for you to be ready." The words weren't angry, just true. Daniel stood slowly, never taking his eyes off Emma. "I transferred here 3 months ago. I've been trying to find you ever since I heard you might be in the city." "Why?" "Because I was wrong, Margaret. About everything." He paused. "I built an empire. I have everything I thought I wanted. And I come home every night to an empty apartment and wonder what the hell it was all for." Emma tugged on his sleeve. "Are you staying for pancakes? Mama makes the best pancakes." Daniel smiled, and it was genuine, tender. "I'd love pancakes." Over coffee and pancakes, they talked. Really talked. About regrets and mistakes. About loneliness and second chances. About a little girl who deserved to know her father if he was willing to do the work. "I can't promise this will be easy," Margaret said. "I don't want easy," Daniel replied. "I want real. I want to be here. For both of you, if you'll let me try." Emma had fallen asleep on the booth bench, her head on Daniel's jacket. Margaret looked at her daughter, peaceful and safe. Life doesn't always go as planned. But sometimes it gives you something better. A chance to begin again. The end.